Welcome to This Week in Clown World, where we try to run through a bunch of stories very quickly. First up, there's a bunch of YouTube news. YouTube says that it is no longer obligated to host anyone's video. If you've heard about this, YouTube is actually making a change to its policy, a change that has actually been around on the British YouTube site and the TOS since I think it was January the 22nd. So what this change is that YouTube says that it is not obligated to host any videos that are not commercially viable, which means if it's not getting them shares, clicks, views, or even ad revenue. So while most people look at this as if their channel's not monetized, they're screwed because they're not earning money, which means YouTube isn't earning money. That's not quite true. If you are getting, views and likes and stuff, you have the potential to, so they'll probably keep you around. But what this means is if you do live streams, podcast, whatever it may be, and you do like hour, 2 hour, that's a lot of space to take up. And if you're getting very little views, 3 or 4, then it could mean the death of your channel, or at least those videos, making YouTube even less of a platform for game streaming. On top of that, what if you're somebody who uploads daily or multiple videos a week? That space does end up adding up. So it's not quite clear how this policy is going to be enacted. All we know is it's bad for small content creators who aren't yet monetized for sure. This is probably for YouTube to be able to better control new people coming into the platform. Same with the verification, how they took away the verification and people had to reapply for it. Since they choose verifications, they can choose what counts verified, so people won't reflect badly on YouTube. They can say, well, this person wasn't, verified. And then there's also other channels like Steven Crowder, his whole channel demonetized. They took away monetization, even though he did everything that they told him to. They even said he didn't break any rules, but then they told him to make changes. He made those changes. They applied, still not monetized again. But that leads the potential for channels that they chose to demonetize, no matter what the reason, to be allowed to remove their videos. Now, this comes after the announcement of an even worse policy that YouTube has put in place, due to YouTube and the battle with, I believe it was FCC, and them collecting data on minors for their AdSense and customized ads. Every creator for every single video that they upload will have to click a box to verify if their video is targeting kids or not. If they choose not to click on the video, but it is determined by somebody else who may not even have the cultural context that we have here in America, because let's be honest, these jobs are outsourced. If they determine that your video is targeting kids, you will face a $42,000 fine per video. And if you do click the box saying that you're targeting kids, personalized ads will be disabled, which has seen content drop from anywhere between, ad revenue drop anywhere between 60% to 90% for creators. Meaning that this may be one of the worst adpocalypse on top of everything else that, has come, like Vox and the original adpocalypse and all that. So let me give you an example. Mario. Nintendo, Mario, child-friendly. Now, if I streamed Mario and it takes me 20 minutes in a 2-hour stream to drop my first F-bomb and then say cunt 3 times and then make a sexual joke, that's clearly not for kids, but 20 minutes in, they didn't see anything. They might just assume that a game of Mario on a Nintendo product is for kids, and then they'll mark me as lying about it, and I could be sued. Because the solution isn't for YouTube to stop collecting data on child's accounts. The solution is for YouTube to throw its creators under the bus once again. But YouTube doesn't only hate its creators, it also hates journalists, along with Facebook. They are actually censoring and removing any instance of the whistleblower's name being mentioned, which is quite weird because, you want people to do journalism and be informed. The fact that this whistleblower worked with Adam Schiff, worked with Joe Biden, you would think that that's very important stuff for the key person for Trump's impeachment for people to know about. But again, Facebook and YouTube lean left, and it's not just that they lean left, they lean pretty far left. They do not like their information getting out. Facebook is getting a little bit better. YouTube is still extremely terrible at this. If you want to watch a more in-depth video, if this kind of censorship and big tech gets you off, then I would recommend Tim Pool. He made a few videos about the whistleblower and then had his videos and his Facebook post deleted. Now, what it turns out is what YouTube is doing is not actually deleting videos, but they are forcing them into private mode and locking them in private mode. So it looks like it was just the content creator who was hiding the videos and not that YouTube actually deleted them. That is not the case. I've actually never seen this before, but this is really, really messed up. The fact that people can't talk about, actual news because they don't like it. That is extremely totalitarian, and it is very terrifying. Moving on from YouTube to the parent company, Google. Google's Project Nightingale has actually been stealing many people's health information, millions of Americans. Now, I don't know why this says gathering health. They're stealing it. They're taking your information without permission. Now, this is something that Google is not new to. Neither is many other tech platforms such as Twitter and Facebook and pretty much anything that you use. Now, some Star Wars news. Before the video dropped for the trailer for the new Star Wars movie, the writers from Game of Thrones decided that they were going to go ahead and leave the trilogy. Now, this kind of comes as a shock because no matter how shitty Last Jedi was and how much, Han Solo sucked and how Rebels or whatever it was pretty boring, it comes as a shock that people no longer want to be a part of Star Wars. What they said is that they were leaving to pursue a full-time thing with Netflix for, I believe, an original show, but still choosing Netflix over Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel, and Fox, and everything else that they own for Netflix. It's just clear that they don't have faith in the movies and what's coming next. But, I mean, how can you when everybody blames toxic fans, but the real toxic people is the writer and the director? Because Rian Johnson actually said, if someone is responding to the diversity negatively, fuck them. Because that's how the person who is depending on fans to go see their movie should talk to those fans. Because they don't like the bullshit that you shoved in there very terribly. Nobody complains that, that the lead is a girl. Nobody complains about the diversity. What they complain about is how fucking poorly optimized it was. See the Spider-Verse, very diverse and all that, and nobody complained. It was very well received, very well loved. I really enjoy it. And I'm somebody who complains about diversity because it's not done right. It's done to shove in agendas. And that's why, when they complain about things like Rey being a Mary Sue. They don't complain about her being a woman. She's a Mary Sue. I've had black people complain about how Finn was written. He's not written as a very good character of color. So I find it funny that these companies will always complain about nostalgia and toxic fandom and all that when they ride on nostalgia, and they are the extremely fucking toxic people. Because somebody doesn't like their show, they fucking flip out. And it's because of stupid diversity shit and writing poor characters because of it that Star Wars is actually going on a hiatus, is what they say. Really, they're retiring it until this shit dies down and they feel like a new generation has come forward that they can take the money from with poorly written characters. Now, to clarify, diversity doesn't mean poorly written characters, but trying to shove it in and put in an agenda first, trying to hit those check boxes before you write character development is more than likely going to result in a terrible character. Take from comics and shows, like my favorite show, Static Shock when I was younger. He was a hero who happened to be black. They didn't check off, oh, well, he needs to be black. Now we'll write the character. They wrote the character and then just went, you know what, we can make him black. Now, what's funny is this is actually right after they announced the tickets for the new movie was completely sold out everywhere. That it was amazing, new record. But they're going to go on a hiatus right after, which makes me wonder what the hell is wrong with this movie. But it's not just Disney's Star Wars branch that is struggling. Kevin Feige says that you'll need to have Disney Plus in order to keep up with the full cinematic Marvel movie universe. Now, this just screams desperation. If you've seen the new wave of movies that are coming out from Marvel, they are trying to be very diverse and all that, and we've seen how well Disney and even Marvel writes their characters for the cinematic universe, and we've seen the fans' reaction. They are not liking it. They pick terrible characters. On top of that, they're just trying to shove diversity and other stupid shit in there rather than just write characters and a good movie, because they have to hit the check boxes first. So we all know that it's going to be crap, just like Star Wars. But they are actually trying to sell us on the fact that we need to buy Disney Plus in order to understand these movies. That is the same crap, the same desperate crap that they tried to sell us with Captain Marvel. We didn't need to watch that movie to understand her in Endgame. She shows up, she gets punched, that's pretty much it. Yeah, she has the gauntlet for a little bit, but other than that, no. The movie had nothing to do with her. You could not watch the movie, and when she came up in Endgame, they tell you about her. You would have been just fine. It's pathetic and desperate, because I think Feige is well aware of what's going to happen when they make this switch to the new Avengers. And if you didn't know, well, the comics, the woke comics, are dying because they're shoving in the diversity crap instead of writing good characters. Because nobody wants a character that has to keep talking about and putting forward what they are instead of who they are. They want a character that just happens to be these things. Now let's take a look at diversity that is mostly done right. Overwatch, one of the most diverse games that have ever existed, one of the most inclusive, is facing backlash because it's still not diverse enough. And what do you mean, is it not diverse because it doesn't have every race with every type of gender? No, it's not diverse enough because there's still, not enough people of color, despite the cast being mostly people of color. 2 of them being animals, 2 of them being robots. Sorry, 3 of them being robots. I forget about Zenyatta because he's a shit healer. I always kill the people he's healing faster than he can heal them. So I'm probably going to go over a list of everything that's controversial with Overwatch, despite it not actually being controversial, some other day. But it took forever for them to announce a black woman, despite having many women of different colors and having a few black characters along with black male characters along with male characters of other races. They weren't happy with that, so they did finally announce this is the only new announced hero that we know of so far for Overwatch 2, despite there not actually being a reason to make a second game other than money. Now, there's no telling if this character is going to be written poorly yet or not because we have no information on her. I think maybe a name. I didn't really watch the E3, or not E3, the BlizzCon presentation. So we don't know yet, but I am quite sure that her inclusion as the main person for the launch trailer has to do, or I shouldn't say main, they showed off a lot of people, but the new one has to do with the outrage about not having a female black character. And people are still not happy the fact that they have her. They're still being outraged about it because it took so long. But Overwatch and Blizzard has a detailed history of making great character backstory. And the fact that we don't have to interact with them inside the game. Well, we will this one. They will have mainline story missions. But I feel like a lot of it's going to be the old heroes and then maybe 1 or 2 for every new hero that comes out. But the fact that all their lore has been, in comics and cinematics and all that, where we actually don't get too much, and voice interactions in game does help them be able to create these characters more vividly while leaving out gigantic mystery parts of their past. And I think that has helped them, but they also do have a great history of creating characters, very diverse characters that are done very well. So I do have hopes for her. But I find it funny. It's never enough. And we all know it's never enough for these people. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was Zoe Quinn is back at playing the victim again. If you don't know who Zoe Quinn is, she is the woman who stole over $85,000 from for almost 2,500 fans of hers that paid her for a game that she never made. She was also part of Feminist Frequency, which was another show that was funded, where it turned out that they stole all the money because they were using the YouTube provided studios that don't cost them a damn dime to rent. So she has a history of lying to her fans and stealing. Now, it goes back further than that. She also had she was the big part in Gamergate. She was actually the person who was sleeping around with the devs to get good scores for her shit video game. Gave her boyfriend an STD, lied about it. Her boyfriend found out, told on her, and then, a big backlash started, and then she started playing the victim. Boo-hoo, I'm a woman. No, it's because you were taking advantage of the gaming industry to, you know, sucker us gamers. So you've probably heard of what happened with Alec. If not, I will have a video linked. It will go to my other channel because I started making content like this on there first before I decided to move it to a second channel. But basically, Zoe Quinn made false allegations. They were proven false, and she brought no proof at all, but they were later proven false, that a fellow game dev, Alec, who they both worked, I don't know if they both worked on Night in the Woods, but he worked on Night in the Woods, and then she was either there for that or she joined the company later, accused him of, you know, being all these terrible things, assault her, you know, having her locked up and being controlling and all that. Turns out that was a lie. She was actually the controlling person. Anybody with a brain could have told you that if they knew her history. But basically, she caused him to lose his job and had her fans attack him until he committed suicide. All because she was an attention whore that lied because she needed more money because feminist frequency went under. And she's not working on her current game. She's actually been proven to been lying about that. She said Alec took control. He did not. I'll go ahead and have the two articles, one proving everything that Zoe Quinn is posting is a lie, and the other one proving that she is actually the manipulative, you know, bitch behind the scenes from Alec's messages and the description. So you guys can go ahead and read that stuff for yourself. But she is back on Twitter claiming to be the victim, saying that even though she made false allegations, which she's not going to admit to, even though they were proven false, and she's still not going to bring any proof that it happened or go to the damn cops, she is saying that it wasn't her fault, even though she lied, which got him fired, got him attacked, got him harassed, and to the point that he committed suicide when she very well claimed that she knew he had he had a lot of mental illnesses. He was, you know, clinically depressed. He had a history of self-harm. She knew all this, and she still did that, and is now trying to, one, claim that she's the victim because people are, you know, talking about it and telling her to piss off with her victim bullshit and calling her out for lying until she drove a man to kill himself. But she's the victim. But she's claiming that it's not her fault, despite, yes, everything that happened was because you lied. And then she talks about how, well, if people are saying Twitter had this very real impact that, you know, forced this guy to kill himself, then people tweeting at her, telling her, you know, shoving in her face how she got this dude killed because she lied, on top of everything else that she did, would cause her to kill herself. Well, nobody's hoping that you kill yourself. And honestly, if you died, I wouldn't give a shit. I don't like you. I'm not hoping you kill yourself. And if anybody is hoping, then they really need to take a big look at themselves because something's wrong with them. But it wasn't just Twitter. It was the fact that she got him fired, constantly harassed. They were dating. This dude liked her, even though she was controlling as all fucking hell. It wasn't just Twitter. Nobody claims that Twitter doesn't affect lives. We hate cancel culture. You know, we talk about it all the time. And then she wants to say, well, these people didn't care about Alec. He made Night into the Woods. Hundreds of thousands of people love that game. It dealt with depression. It helped a lot of people. I didn't play it. Yeah, I personally don't really care about Alec. She even points out that a lot of people can't spell his name right. The reason why I spell his name wrong is because I'm used to it being spelled a different way. My brother's name is Alan. If somebody else tells me that their name is Alan, but they spell it different, I'm going to spell it the way my brother's name is because that's the way I'm used to. Now, not everybody knows the name of every dev and how to spell it behind their favorite games, but they still know who he is, what he made, and how it helped them. So the fact that she's trying to say some of these people aren't the fans, she's trying to make it out like nobody is asinine. And I can't stand people like her. She led a man to suicide and then plays the victim. And then all these people are white knighting up her ass, trying to pretend like, you know, the worst things are happening to her. And I can't stand stuff like this. This actually gets me angry. Well, I think that's going to do it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.